Welcome, everyone. It is Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is March 17th, and we're not in any St. Patrick's Day parades. You can stay home and do your jig in your room, that Irish dancing that we all love. Anyway, my name's Sarah McLean, and I'm really excited to be here of service to you and to really help you navigate some of the fears and anxieties and uncertainties that are arising with the spread of the coronavirus. Many of us are alone in our homes or sequestered from our families and friends. And so this is a beautiful way to connect. And I've invited Reed Cowan, who is a wonderful meditation teacher from Las Vegas and an Emmy award-winning newscaster for the NBC affiliate there. And his life's being shaken up. Obviously, he's constantly being exposed to the news around the coronavirus. And I don't know if you've heard anything yet about the Olympics, which usually goes and covers, but I'm sure that's changing your future forecast. But I'd like to invite you to talk a little bit about what you know and what you know as a meditation teacher might serve us best for navigating this uncertain world and putting our attention on what really matters.
Thank you, friend. Well, I'm excited to participate and practice with all of you today. I just had an experience at my house just a moment ago. I think I'll share with all of you. It's been long scheduled that a furniture delivery would come to my house. We didn't think it would happen. It happened. And the three guys who came said, "You're our last delivery. We don't know what the future holds after this." Young father, he said, "If we don't work, we don't eat at my house." And so it struck me because here in Las Vegas, where I live my life with my family, we are 1000% dependent on tourism and travel. And with all of the casino properties shut down, with schools shut down, with grocery stores limiting hours, there are layoffs. In fact, the place where I teach meditation contacted me yesterday and said, "We're closing. We don't know when we're opening up again." So I don't know if that counts as a technical layoff, but I'm laid off from my job. My other job is a meditation teacher. So it has me thinking about where we are in response to the response, if that makes sense. And checking in with myself to see how I'm mentally and emotionally meeting what comes through my door. And I wanted to share this with you, Rumi Guest House. Sarah, I think you shared this with me also.
I was just in the shower and I said, "Oh my gosh, I've got to pull up that Rumi Guest House poem." So thanks for doing that. I didn't have a chance to.
Well, you know what's creepy and synchronicity? I was just in my shower thinking the same thing.
Well, that's where we get our best downloads, yes.
That's right. So Rumi, Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And that frames my experience today as we confront everything that is coming to our collective guest house. And meditation brings me to a place where I can have that equanimity and know that whatever comes through my door, the things that are unchangeable, the things that can never be taken away from me, the things that sustain and bring me light are always mine and are always yours. So I'm glad that we had shower inspiration, Sarah McLean.
Well, I just wanted to share, because I know this call's really about putting your attention on what really matters. And but I also want to acknowledge, just like the guest house, that there are some guests that we generally don't want to have join us. Our thoughts about our mortality or that we're not going to have enough, or the world is coming to an end, or you might get sick. All of these are thoughts that we can welcome and acknowledge. I think some of the sort of new age thinking can be that what's called a spiritual bypass. And a spiritual bypass is not acknowledging the fear and the anxiety and the sadness and the grief. And so I really do invite you to feel what you're feeling. And emotions have their own life. They have a beginning, middle, and end. And when we repress them, that's when they have a longer life that tends to show up unexpectedly. But if you can and you feel these moments of fear or these moments of sadness, it's just to welcome them and be really kind to yourself. Be really, really kind to yourself. Each one of us has some fundamental fears, and even if we're spiritual and have a daily meditation practice or prayer practice, or we have a strong belief in the divine or higher power or source, whatever you want to call God, quite often there's this road to enlightenment is paved with both faith and fear, faith and doubt. And so that's just natural. So, my suggestion is not to slap a bumper sticker on your car that says, it's all good, like I used to do, and pretend everything was fine, because pretending is not spiritual. They do say fake it till you make it. And maybe you try on, if you find yourself wallowing in a certain emotion, maybe you try on some of what you know to switch your attention. I definitely recommend shutting the television off, and no offense, Reed, our television anchor, but just watch him, or just watch, what's the best amount of time you think would be a mindful amount of media, Reed?
Well, I'll tell you what, in every newscast, I'll give you, those of you who don't know, there's an A block of news before commercial break. There's a B block of news before commercial break. There's a C block of news. And the A block of news is typically where the most urgent pieces of news exist. And I think it's great to develop a sense of discernment as to, just like during 9/11 or here in Las Vegas 1 October, to say, is the A block all I can take today? Or is half of that A block all I can take today to be informed? And I would also say, just one last thought, Sarah, engage with your reporters and your anchors and the people you're listening to in this very noisy world. Engage with them. Ask for positive stories. Ask for stories that enlighten. Challenge the people who are noisy, like myself on TV, to put out 2 positive stories for every story that can be perceived as negative. And that's the way that you can participate and be an active media consumer. But just know, A block may be enough for you. B block, you can let it go. And if A block isn't what you can do today, it's okay to say, me first, my health and well-being first.
Right. Because we know what you pay attention to has a direct effect on the way your body is metabolizing life. If you're thinking scary thoughts, your amygdala is being activated, and next thing you know, your immune system is changing its course and your heart rate's going up, and there's a lot of cardiovascular pressure and various issues that are rising, not to mention the ocean of hormones that are coming to change your perspective. So, though we may think it's harmless to keep that TV on in the background, I think there's another way to digest your world. Maybe you don't like silence, so you want company, but find something that nourishes you, a nourishing story. My husband didn't know this until recently, but every day I get into my car, I either am playing some chants or I'm playing the comedy station. So this morning I had to run into the to the pharmacy, and I left him in the car, and I came back to the car, and he is laughing and laughing and laughing. And there's been a lot of research about laughter and your immune system. So find a good comedy show. YouTube is really good. As long as it's not offensive, it should serve the purpose. And even if it's stupid comedy, it can make you laugh. Slapstick even makes you laugh. And so find ways to nourish yourself if you're staying indoors with the media that is going to bring a light to your world. And if you're not able to get outside, sit by a window and watch the sunlight and the wind and the ways in which nature is your neighbor. I have some amazing, what are they? Little guys that crawl, there's ground squirrels and they go under the ground and they create all these holes and I can watch them do that. And they're my neighbors. They live right next door to me. Sometimes they live right on my walkway, and I have snails and I have birds, and these are all my friends too. And some of us forget about our neighbors, our kinship with all life, and this is a beautiful time to do that. So turning off the TV after you've had your fill. How much is a block, Reed?
You know what? Typically about 13 minutes of news.
13 minutes is a really good amount of news. You'll have what you need. And trust me, if at all on social media, you're going to hear about something before you even watch it on television. So I'd love to introduce you to one of my favorite new meditations. And, now's the time to move from the me and the issues. I'm sure you all have enough stuff now. You've consumed everything and you look around, you've got enough canned goods and frozen foods and maybe even enough toilet paper. So then what? And there's only so much online shopping you can have. And I was thinking about that today. Now they're not delivering, right, Reed? Now they're not going to be delivering. So we are really in the midst of a beautiful dysregulation where whatever we used to use to distract ourselves, the busyness, the shopping, the overscheduling, the work addictions, whatever we used to use has now really fallen away in most cases. So it's really beautiful to find a new sanctuary, whether it's in your own home or in your own heart. So I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite new practices, and it's called, let me find it here. It's written by James O'Day. He was the president, I believe, of, what was this called? Well, he's of the Institute of Noetic Sciences. I don't know if you know what that is. He's a mystic, a thought leader, an activist. He works a lot with prayer and contemplation. And this is a practice he put together called the Soul Awakening Practice. And it's a very, very, very simple practice. But what it is kind of the new take on loving kindness meditation. Some of you know loving kindness meditation as wishing all beings well and happy and free from suffering. And of course, there's nothing better than having compassion for the entire world and all of the life on this planet. This one's a little more specific. I call them little sutras. The word sutra means stitch. And these are little sutras that once we get into our breath awareness and into the settled, restful awareness that we create with meditation, we drop these little pebbles into the still pond of consciousness that we've created, and we let them ripple out. And so I'm going to invite you to do this, and I'll give you direction as we go. Many of you maybe are sitting comfortably. Most of you are probably not driving. This is being recorded, so if you're not here live, welcome. I am going to suggest that you close your eyes and get comfortable. And for those of you relatively new to meditation, I want to share what I know to be very helpful. Number one, it's okay to get distracted. Start thinking about current events or what's that noise, or your mind just wanders off to a default conversation. Come on back again and again to this practice. Remember, meditation is a practice. Number two, be kind to yourself. How you treat yourself in meditation is a practice for how you treat yourself with your eyes open and walking through the world. Number three, let what happens happen. Don't have any expectations for a particular aha moment or any kind of transcendent experience, but instead become curious, welcoming everything, resisting nothing, whether it's a body sensation that you have or an emotion or nothing at all. It's all good. It's like that guest house. We welcome everything and expect nothing. We're not going to try too hard to force a particular emotion. Once again, we talked a little bit about spiritual bypass. Some people want to have only good thoughts or want to feel something very deeply. What I know about meditation is it really helps you to access the spontaneity, that creative intelligence that lives through you as you. So the less we try and the more we do the practice, the more opportunity we have to have an awakening. But you can't try to have it. It's that old saying from Yoda from Star Wars, do or do not. There is no try. So with this practice, we're going to do the practice and see what happens with curiosity and a beginner's mind. And lastly, stick with this practice, and we'll do this practice. Let me check the time here. We'll do this practice for about 12 minutes, and I'll keep track of the time. And so for those of you who haven't been meditating regularly, this is a great opportunity to jumpstart your practice, your self-care routine. Meditation is certainly a radical act of self-care. And why not do it? Do it every day. This is a great time to do it right now. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. There's no need to keep them squinted. And if you do feel a need to open them up, you can go ahead and do that, look around, and then close them again. And there's an alternate to this as well. Ideally, your eyes are closed, but if not, you can cap them, which means just gazing softly towards the floor. I'm going to mute everyone here. If you hear that right now, that's what we're going to be doing. And we are going to do this practice. I'll keep track of the time. So let's begin by closing the eyes and deepening the breath. At whatever capacity you can, breathing slowly and deeply in and out through your nose, if possible. Breathing in slowly and then breathing out fully. Sometimes we don't even know we're holding our breath, and this can be a habit when we're stressed out. So a few long, slow, deep breaths kind of regulates the body back into the restful state. And then you can let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. Noticing the breath and noticing the way the body responds to your breath. Feeling it enter your body and exiting your body. Feeling the movement and the pauses. And noticing what's here. How are you feeling physically? And without answering it automatically, scan your body, noticing the sensations of lightness or heaviness, tingling or numbness, coolness or warmth, being tense or being relaxed. So soften your face and your belly and sink into the support that's here. The support that the chair may be offering you or the floor is offering your feet. Sink into the support of this community. Sink into the support of your breath and your practice. Letting your breath be natural. There's no need to regulate it or control it. Simply be curious about the sensations. Noticing the pauses between each breath. Perhaps you also notice the temperature change between the inhale and the exhale. Becoming aware of the inhale, becoming aware of the exhale. It's okay if you drift off into some other thought, but bring it back here to where your life is. Though the mind might wander, your life is happening here. Your body's here, your breath is here. Let's get integrated. Bringing the mind right here, right now. So I'm going to invite you to repeat these sutras or these phrases. And we're going to offer them first to ourselves. You might want to drop your attention to your heart center as you repeat the first phrase with me silently. Soul awakening. Soul awakening. Soul awakening. Heart opening. Heart opening. Heart opening. Light shining. Light shining. Light shining. Love flowing. Love flowing. Love flowing. Wounds dissolving. Wounds dissolving. Wounds dissolving. Peace radiating. Peace radiating. Peace radiating. Deepening your breath. Notice how you're feeling. And then letting your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. We're going to offer the same phrases to each one of us that's on this call. So right now there are 58 of us, and I'm sure many others will be listening. So just get a sense that you're not alone and you're in a community. And this is the prayer that you offer to each one of us. I'll repeat each phrase once, and you can sit with it or silently repeat it again. Soul awakening. Heart opening. Light shining. Love flowing. Wounds dissolving. Peace radiating. Giving yourself another deep breath, being sure your body is soft. Letting your breath return to its natural rhythm. And this time, let's offer these sentiments and these prayers for all of your connections, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, whoever comes into the screen of your awareness. That's probably who needs it most. I'll repeat each phrase once, and I'll leave a little more time between each one. Soul awakening. Heart opening. Light shining. Love flowing. Wounds dissolving. Peace radiating. Deepening your breath. Letting yourself sink into this moment. We'll offer this prayer one more time, whether you want to share it with the world or with someone in particular you know is suffering in some way, someone who may have lost their job or has contracted the virus or is living alone and doesn't have the support they need during this time. Letting your breath return to its natural rhythm as we move to soul awakening. Heart opening. Light shining. Love flowing. Wounds dissolving. Peace radiating. As you're seated with your eyes closed, take a moment and appreciate yourself and your courage and your willingness to be the ripple of peace that we need to see in the world. You have a lot of choices, and you've chosen to be here, to be in community, to support yourself as you journey through this challenging time. And if you like, you can bring your hands together in the prayer Anjali Mudra or the Namaste Mudra and bow to yourself and that divinity that's shining through you, that lives through you as you. Bowing down to that all-knowing, loving, benevolent force that you are an expression of. Though the world can change and there's plenty of winds of change, there is this constant, that loving awareness that you are. May you remember to live with that awareness, that that's really who you are. And if you'd like to slowly open your eyes, you may do that. There's no rush. But keeping your hands in that Anjali Mudra, you can bow to those of us on the call with you. I don't know if you can see us, but there are so many beautiful faces and many people calling in. So the Namaste, I bow to the love that's in you, that's the same as the love that's in me. I bow to the divine, that creative intelligence that is orchestrating this whole Leela.
Call from Prospect Surge.
Yes, and they want to join us, so I'm going to go ahead and mute you. So thank you all for joining us. I want to share something that Reed has, that Reed has given us a little. Let me see if I can put this in here in the chat box. It's a Huffington Post reality TV, and what just put that article on here for you. It's relative to negative media. But I wanted to see how that was for you. And I'm going to stop this recording in just a moment. We have like one more minute that I'd like to stay recording, but anyone care to share how that practice was for them, or maybe the difference between how you feel now as relative to how you were before?
I'd like to say something.
Sure.
I felt, as you were saying, soul awakening and heart offering, and realizing that what we're going through now is actually giving us these things. I could actually feel it.
Yes.
And it makes it bearable. It makes it easier. And we will get through it. And these are going to be the things that we're going to get from it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And it's scary. It's like hell in the hallway. The old way's not working. The new way hasn't arrived. Although I think we're all getting little ideas of what the new way is going to be like. Is to be of service, to ask what do you need, to stay present, to stay connected to what's real. At least what's real for me is nature and the elements and the love that I feel for you and the love that I feel for creation itself. To continually come back to this moment, this moment, this moment. Be prepared. Let yourself think about the past and the future, but don't spend your whole bandwidth there. Stay here where your life is. You might as well enjoy it. We don't know how long we have, but I can tell you there's a big reshuffling, and I think most of us will be fine. I'm pretty sure of it. And everything's going to be okay, even if it looks like you know, you don't have any toilet paper in your store. It's still going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you for saying that, Laura. I really feel the same way. Yep. Stay present, stay connected, be grateful, and honor all of the weather patterns that go on in your emotional body. Just know they're moving through. They're just like the guest house. They're here to clean you up for some new delights. And we can't even know what we don't know. We can't know we can't know what's coming. You don't even know what's going to happen next. I don't. That's the exciting part. As long as you keep the stress at bay and keep your awareness clear and present. I'm going to stop our recording now.